My beloved child, there are moments in life when wisdom becomes more important than certainty. Before you allow this title to fill your heart with suspicion, stay with this message until the very end. This is not about accusing someone or deciding that a particular person has hidden intentions. It is about learning the value of discernment, patience, and thoughtful judgment. Imagine a traveler walking through a dense forest at dawn. The morning mist makes every path look uncertain, yet the traveler does not rush forward carelessly. Instead, each step is taken with wisdom, paying attention to the signs along the way. Life often asks us to do the same. There are times when trust should be strengthened through honesty and consistency, and there are times when healthy boundaries become necessary. The greatest lesson waiting for you today is not about fear, it is about learning to recognize what truly helps your life flourish. Stay with this journey, because the deeper meaning is still ahead. Think about a builder constructing a strong home. Before placing the roof, the builder carefully examines the foundation. Not because the builder expects failure, but because a lasting structure depends on what lies beneath the surface. Relationships, friendships, and partnerships grow in much the same way. Trust is built over time through truthfulness, respect, kindness, and dependable actions. When those qualities are present, confidence naturally grows stronger. When confusion, dishonesty, or repeated harm appear, wisdom invites us to pause, ask thoughtful questions, and make careful decisions. This message is not telling you to stop trusting one specific person. Instead, it encourages you to value trust as something precious, something that should be nurtured with integrity rather than given away without reflection. Before drawing any conclusions, ask yourself one quiet question. Are the people closest to you helping you become wiser, kinder, and more at peace? Now the atmosphere begins to shift. The title may have suggested one story, but a much deeper lesson is waiting to unfold. This journey is about understanding the difference between fear and wisdom, between suspicion and discernment, and between reacting quickly and responding thoughtfully. Hold on to that thought. The next chapter will reveal why the strongest relationships are not built on blind trust or constant doubt, but on honesty, consistency, and the quiet confidence that grows when actions and words remain in harmony. As this journey continues, another question quietly rises to the surface. How do we know when trust is becoming stronger, and when it deserves a second look? Imagine a lighthouse standing firm along a rugged coastline. It does not chase every passing ship, nor does it fear every wave that reaches the shore. It simply shines with steady light, helping others navigate safely. Wisdom often works in the same quiet way. It does not demand that we become suspicious of everyone around us. Instead, it encourages us to pay attention, to remain patient, and to let time reveal what hurried emotions often cannot. Stay with this message a little longer, because the most important insight has not yet been uncovered. Consider a gardener caring for a young tree. Every day brings water, sunlight, and attention, yet the gardener also watches for signs that the tree is healthy and growing well. Care and observation go hand in hand. Relationships are much the same. Trust grows through honesty, respect, reliability, and kindness shown consistently over time. When those qualities are present, confidence naturally deepens. When promises are repeatedly broken or respect is consistently absent, wisdom invites us to pause before continuing down the same path. This is not an invitation to judge others harshly. It is a reminder that healthy relationships are built by both people choosing truth, compassion, and integrity. Before asking who deserves your trust, ask whether the relationship encourages both of you to become better people. Now the message reaches another turning point. The title may have sounded like a warning directed at one specific person, but the deeper story is leading somewhere far more meaningful. It is preparing you to understand why discernment is one of life's greatest strengths, and why lasting trust is never built on fear or assumptions. One important layer still remains hidden. In the next chapter, you will discover how patience often reveals what rushing never can, and why the strongest foundations are built one honest step at a time. The deeper you move into this message, the more one truth begins to shine. Time has a remarkable way of revealing what words alone cannot. Imagine a river flowing over smooth stones year after year. At first, the changes are almost impossible to notice. Yet with patience, the river quietly shapes every stone it touches. Relationships often reveal their true character in the same way. It is not usually one conversation or one single moment that tells the whole story. Instead, it is the consistent pattern of honesty, respect, kindness, and dependability that gradually builds lasting trust. Stay with this journey a little longer, because the most meaningful lesson is still waiting ahead. Now picture a traveler preparing for a long journey. Before setting out, the traveler carefully checks the map, gathers the right supplies, and chooses companions who will encourage rather than discourage the journey ahead. This is not done out of fear. It is done with wisdom. The people we spend time with often influence our perspective, our decisions, and even the direction our lives take. That is why thoughtful discernment matters. It does not mean expecting the worst from everyone. It means valuing relationships where honesty is welcomed, encouragement is freely given, mistakes can be acknowledged, and trust continues to grow through consistent actions. Before asking whether someone deserves your confidence, pause and ask whether the relationship brings more peace, integrity, and mutual respect into both of your lives. The atmosphere is changing once again. Every chapter has gently moved beyond the title's first impression and toward a message of wisdom rather than fear. Yet one essential piece is still missing. The next chapter will reveal why the healthiest relationships are not those that never face challenges, but those that are strengthened through honesty, accountability, forgiveness when appropriate, and the courage to make wise decisions when needed. Everything is leading toward one final truth that will bring the entire journey together. Another layer of this journey is now ready to unfold. Imagine a craftsman shaping a piece of fine wood. Every careful cut has a purpose, even when the finished design cannot yet be seen. If someone judged the work too early, they might mistake preparation for destruction. Life often works in a similar way. The experiences we have with others, whether encouraging or challenging, can teach us discernment, patience, and wisdom. Those lessons are often more valuable than we realize in the moment. Stay with this message a little longer, because the deepest understanding is still just ahead. The answer is not found in rushing to conclusions about people, but in learning how to recognize the qualities that allow trust to grow naturally over time. Think about the strongest bridges you have ever seen. They remained standing not because they looked impressive on the day they were built, but because they were tested through changing seasons, heavy storms, and countless journeys across them. Healthy relationships are much the same. Genuine trust is strengthened through honesty, consistency, respect, and a willingness to communicate openly when challenges arise. When these qualities are present, confidence grows little by little. When they are repeatedly absent, wisdom invites us to slow down, reflect carefully, and establish healthy boundaries if necessary. This is not about assuming the worst in anyone. It is about recognizing that lasting trust is earned through character and faithful actions, not simply through promises or appearances. Everything has now been leading toward one final revelation. The title may have sounded like an urgent warning about a particular person, but the deeper message has always been about developing wisdom in the way you build and protect your relationships. Only one chapter remains. In the final part, every reflection, every question, and every lesson will come together into one complete message, revealing why discernment is one of the greatest gifts you can cultivate and how it helps you move forward with confidence, peace, and hope rather than fear. Now the journey reaches its destination. From the very beginning, the title captured your attention with a sense of urgency, but every chapter has pointed toward a deeper truth. Wisdom is not about living in constant suspicion, nor is it about placing blind trust in everyone you meet. True wisdom grows when you learn to recognize the difference between words and consistent actions. Relationships that are built on honesty, respect, kindness, accountability, and mutual encouragement become stronger with time. When those qualities are missing again and again, it is wise to slow down, ask honest questions, and establish healthy boundaries rather than ignoring what experience has already taught you. Imagine a captain guiding a ship across the open sea. The captain does not fear every cloud on the horizon, but neither does the captain ignore changing weather. Instead, each decision is made with calm observation, patience, and careful judgment. Life invites us to approach relationships in the same way. You cannot control every choice another person makes, but you can choose integrity, compassion, and wisdom in your own decisions. Trust should never be rooted in fear or pressure. It grows naturally where truth is spoken, promises are honored, mistakes are acknowledged, and respect is shown consistently over time. These are the qualities that create relationships capable of enduring life's changing seasons. As this message comes to an end, carry one lasting lesson with you. Do not allow fear to guide your heart, but do not ignore wisdom either. Value the people whose actions consistently reflect honesty, kindness, and genuine care. Be that kind of person for others as well. When you build your relationships on truth, respect, patience, and compassion, you create a foundation that can withstand life's greatest challenges. Thank you for staying until the end of this journey. May you move forward with a heart filled with peace, a mind guided by wisdom, and the confidence to make thoughtful choices in every season that lies ahead. One final reflection before you leave. Every meaningful journey eventually arrives at a moment where knowledge becomes a choice. You can continue carrying old fears, or you can begin carrying new wisdom. The purpose of this message was never to convince you to distrust a particular individual. It was to remind you that trust is one of life's greatest gifts, and like every valuable gift, it deserves to be given with care, strengthened through honesty, and protected by healthy boundaries. As you move forward, let your decisions be shaped by patience instead of pressure, by truth instead of assumption, and by consistent character instead of passing emotions. Remember this whenever you face uncertainty: the strongest relationships are not built overnight. They grow through countless moments of kindness, forgiveness, accountability, respect, and faithful actions. Likewise, when someone repeatedly shows behavior that damages trust, wisdom allows you to recognize it without becoming consumed by fear or resentment. Every experience can become a lesson that helps you love more wisely, communicate more honestly, and choose relationships that encourage mutual growth. The future becomes brighter when your heart remains compassionate and your judgment remains thoughtful. Thank you for walking through this entire journey. May you continue forward with confidence, treating others with grace while also valuing your own well-being. Let every season teach you something worthwhile, let every challenge strengthen your character, and let every relationship inspire you to become the very person you hope to find in others. The greatest peace is found not in fearing what tomorrow may bring, but in meeting tomorrow with wisdom, integrity, and hope. As this message gently comes to its close, carry one more thought with you. Every day presents new opportunities to choose wisdom over impulse, understanding over assumption, and peace over unnecessary fear. The people who truly belong in your life will not be perfect, but over time their actions will consistently reflect honesty, respect, and genuine care. Likewise, strive to be someone whose words and actions remain in harmony. The trust you hope to receive from others begins with the trustworthiness you cultivate within yourself. Every act of integrity, every honest conversation, and every moment of compassion becomes another stone in the foundation of relationships that can stand the test of time. When you leave this message today, do not leave with anxiety. Leave with clarity. Instead of wondering who you should fear, ask yourself who encourages you to grow, who speaks truth with kindness, who celebrates your progress, and who remains faithful through both joyful and difficult seasons. Those are the relationships worth investing in. Let wisdom guide your choices, let patience shape your decisions, and let hope remain stronger than uncertainty. No matter what tomorrow brings, a life built on integrity, discernment, and genuine love will always be stronger than one built on suspicion. May you continue your journey with courage, peace, and the confidence to choose what leads to lasting growth. The closer you come to the end of this journey, the more one quiet truth begins to reveal itself. Imagine a watchmaker carefully examining every tiny gear inside a clock. To someone watching from a distance, the pieces may seem insignificant on their own. Yet the watchmaker knows that one small part can affect the movement of the entire design. Relationships often work the same way. It is rarely one dramatic moment that defines them. Instead, they are shaped by countless small choices, consistent actions, and the willingness to show honesty when no one is watching. Stay with this message a little longer, because one final insight is still waiting to be uncovered. Perhaps the greatest lesson is not asking, "Who should I stop trusting?" but asking, "What kind of trust builds a healthy future?" Genuine trust is never demanded, it is earned. It grows where truth is spoken with kindness, where promises are honored, where mistakes are acknowledged, and where respect remains even during disagreement. At the same time, wisdom reminds us that healthy boundaries are not a sign of fear. They are a sign of maturity. You do not have to rush to conclusions about anyone. Give time the opportunity to reveal character, because consistent actions often speak more clearly than impressive words. The people who truly value your life will help you grow in peace, integrity, and hope rather than leaving you trapped in confusion or constant uncertainty. Only one chapter remains. In the final part, every reflection from the beginning of this journey will come together into one complete message. The title may have sounded like an urgent warning, but the ending reveals something far more powerful: how to move through every relationship with discernment instead of suspicion, with courage instead of fear, and with wisdom that brings lasting peace. Stay until the very end, because the final truth will connect every lesson into one unforgettable conclusion. Now the journey reaches its conclusion. From the very first moment, the title invited you to think about one particular person. But as each chapter unfolded, a deeper truth began to emerge. The greatest lesson was never about living in fear of someone around you. It was about learning to value wisdom, discernment, and integrity in every relationship you build. Life places many people on our path. Some encourage us, some challenge us, and some teach lessons we carry for the rest of our lives. Every encounter has the potential to shape our character, but it is our response that ultimately determines the direction of our future. Imagine a gardener tending a flourishing vineyard. The gardener does not remove what is healthy, nor does the gardener ignore what prevents healthy growth. Every decision is made with patience, care, and a vision for what the vineyard can become. We are invited to approach our own lives in the same way. Nurture relationships that are marked by honesty, respect, kindness, and mutual encouragement. If a relationship repeatedly lacks those qualities, respond with wisdom rather than anger, and establish healthy boundaries when needed. Lasting trust is not built on emotional promises alone. It is strengthened through consistent actions, truthful words, accountability, and genuine care shown over time. As this message comes to an end, carry one lasting truth with you. Do not allow fear to decide whom you trust, and do not let disappointment harden your heart. Instead, let wisdom guide your choices, let patience shape your decisions, and let compassion remain at the center of every relationship. Be the kind of person whose words and actions inspire confidence in others. Walk forward with hope, treat people with grace, and remember that the strongest relationships are built one faithful step at a time. If this message encouraged you to reflect more deeply, share that encouragement with someone who may need it today, and return whenever you are ready for another journey of hope, wisdom, and purpose.